Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh,
What up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We are here. We are live with another podcast. Sorry we could not give it to y'all Thursday due to, me working so goddamn far. But hey, it's okay. It's all right. But we are here. We are live. So make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the mail. We gonna call it the Shake Back Impact Sports Podcast now. That's what we're gonna call this. I like the name of that. I thought that was fire. And yeah, we're here. So I'm one of your hosts. I am Darian of DH Impact Media, and I have my boy over here, Willie
Epting Jr.
from the Shake Back Media Group. Man, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I been doing a lot of talking today, and as you were teasing me off air, talk about wake up, old man. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. Nah, man, it's all gravy though, man. How are you on this Friday?
I'm actually feeling good. It's the weekend. It's a week before spring break with the schools at my job. So yeah, I'm ready to be more dedicated to the content now, since I'll have like a whole week off, not this upcoming week, but the following week. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it, man. So before we get into any topics, make sure y'all follow us on social medias, all social medias when it comes to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. Shakeback Media Group, DH Impact Media. We're in the building, man. We're in the building. And it's gonna be some fun shows. We won't talk about a little bit about Ja Morant, the NIL deals on both sides of the ball, Geno Smith. We got some baseball too. And I might have a bone to pick with him about his, Willie's, elite quarterbacks or elite, legend. Well, I guess what you call it?
I have 3 categories, D. I have all-time elites, I have all-time greats, and then I have great. Everybody can't be all-time elite. They can't be anyway. I talk about that on the Shake Back Sports Show. I had a debate with the owner and the dopest engineer in the game, Big Day. This sick debate is what I called it, because he's the host of This Sick Show on the BGC Sports Network. So I tried to get him in, man, while I was talking about it, but he was too busy putting shows together for the weekend. So I appreciate that for him. But yeah, man, I want all the smoke. And just so everybody knows that we're gonna do things a little different today. We're gonna take a couple of breaks because we're simulcasting basically the Shake Back Sports Show for the second segment of that show that you can hear on the Big Game Christian Sports Network, TuneIn app, Radio Garden, of course, BGCsports.net, 12s and 6s, 1s and 7s, Central Standard Time, Saturday and Sunday all weekend. So it's a lot going on right now, D. But I think we need to get to some Ja Morant. What you say about that?
Well, let's talk about it, because I mean, he did. What's going on, Anthony Estrada? What's up, my brother? Thank you for coming on up in here into the show. But I don't know if you watched when it used to be the Darian Hopkins Sports Show, right? And I had a different crew on here at the time when it comes to Ja Morant. And I like I said, I kept it 100. I kept it real, and I said that Ja Morant is a fake thug. He was never brought up in the streets, and he was never brought up in a hood where he had to, these gun gestures and stuff like that. We all know his backstory, where he was on the internet with these guns twice. Majority of the year due to those two situations. Now he's doing the actual gun like sign or whatever you call it. But my problem with this is, why you keep doing it after you got warned? Like, why you keep playing yourself every single time you get back into good graces with the fans, and you want to do that, knowing that you have that reputation from what you did on social media. But before I deep dive into it, I would love to hear what you got to say about it. Because I would love to hear your side of it.
Man, I'll tell you like this. Okay. I understand that these players, they don't necessarily sign up to be role models. They don't sign up for that. But guess what? That's what you are, whether you want to be it or not. And I'm going to let you talk about it from a league standpoint, but I'm going to talk about it from our cultural and our community standpoint.
Oh, go.
Ja Morant, your people, your team, or whoever, I need y'all to listen up. And let me do this. D, because I want this. I want all the attention to myself
Go ahead.
While I go on this soliloquy.
All right.
So as Darian just alluded to about the history of things with Ja Morant, bro, I'm gonna say this. Number one, you cannot, and The Rock means you cannot embarrass the league the way that you did. That's all I'm gonna say about that part of it. But from a cultural and of our community standpoint, especially in this climate that we are in, you cannot be so socially tone deaf to where you do what got you in trouble 2 years ago. That cost you, and who knows, the injury may have been some sort of karma that you had to miss all of that time. Bro, you got kids yourself. You have a wife yourself. You have people on your team that I'm sure they have kids themselves. And that's just the people that's in your circle. But the people that's outside of your circle, the kids that are outside of your circle that are wearing your jerseys on the playground, the kids that are in the gym that's trying to practice flying through the air the way that you do, they are the ones that are the most impressionable because they are watching you. They are patterning their game after yours. They are saying, yo, Ja Morant is my favorite player. So what type of signal are you sending to these kids who, whether you like it or not, they are looking up to you because of your basketball prowess? So what I need you to understand, sir, nephew, son, little brother, whatever I can call you that can that can make you understand. And I'm just an old man with a mic that has lived a little bit of life. But I can tell you this much. You ain't the first person to go down this road, and you won't be the last. But what you could do is be the last time that you do it. It could be the last time that you do it, because truth be told, you're going to get some disciplinary action from the league based on this. So now what do you want people, what do you want kids to say about you? Because I don't care what you say. I don't care what any athlete says about role models and all of that. It is going to be a part of your legacy from now until the time you retire and beyond that. Do you want your legacy to be, yo, Ja Morant was a great player. He played above the rim. He did some stuff that nobody's ever seen before, but you know he did have that time. You don't want to be the but he had that time when it comes to your legacy. And on the court, to do this while your team is mired in a losing streak, while your team is trying to battle for a position to avoid the play-in tournament, and you wanna incite that team that you were playing against, Golden State with Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Those dudes have they have 4 things you don't have, Ja Morant, and that's 4 championships. That's what you should be thinking about instead of the gun salute that you did, pointing it towards them. Now, I can understand, Darian, if he was even pointing it towards the sky or maybe towards the ground, but not at the team the way that he did. But the best way to not put yourself in position is to stay out of those positions that can put you in a position that will be compromising to the site. That's all I got to say about it, brother.
You sound like me a couple years ago. You really sound like me a couple years ago, and I no, you don't even got to put it up there because I said what I said. I said what I said. Ja Morant is a fake thug just trying to fit in into the reality of his peers, which is not really his peers.
Mm-hmm.
You just fitting into the reality. We all know we heard from your father. We heard from so many other people in your community that John Morant wasn't about that. So now, because you have money, you want to be about that. You want to fit in. No, you could have in the last 2 years, you could have been the face of the NBA with the style of play that you have. And now the style of play that you have, it did keep you up the court as well. Don't get me wrong, it did. But the way the kids look up to you when you first came into the league, you did this to yourself with these gun salutes. But the thing about it is the NBA has warned him warned him the first time, and then you come back out and you do it again. That means you're disrespecting the league, you're disrespecting the brand, you're disrespecting the business. Because at the end of the day, it's more than just in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Money's going to be coming out of your pocket at the end of the day because you want to do the stupidity stuff and do these gun salutes. Now, in the NFL, they want to take away this. Now that I don't understand because it's a celebration that they've been doing for years in the NFL. But this don't have nothing to do with that, but it kind of does. And the reason why I say that is because you're doing this, or you're just doing this, giving a gesture, and you're just disrespecting the brand while the game is going on.
Yeah.
So as me, if I was a father and I had boys and I seen stuff like that, I would have told my son, you don't look up to a man like that. Because John Morant, understand, he's still young. I get it.
He ain't that young.
He ain't that young, but you already had 2 strikes by being on social media with these guns. And then you come out and you do these gun salutes. You're not in a gang. Like, bro, you're not from the streets. Your father said it itself. Like, I'm from the streets. Willie probably came from the streets. Don't know. I don't know everybody's background, but I just know mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I know mine, and we don't condone that in Philadelphia. Is are you about it, or are you going to be about it? We don't do no gun salute crap over here. Are you going to do it, or are you not going to do it? So when it comes to my city, we don't condone that. You see, he wouldn't have did that in Philadelphia. They probably would have booed him off. They probably would have booed him out the arena, out of Wells Fargo.
Yeah, because in Philadelphia they boo Santa Claus.
They boo more than Santa Claus. They do snowballs they do snowballs while he was on the bus. Philly is disrespectful like that. We really are. So like with John Morant, like you just got to get it together, bro. Like you just making PR look so bad for the Grizzlies. Even though you lost they fired your coach, but it's just bad PR at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's bad PR. It's terrible. It's terrible. And you're from Oakland. Oakland, like, come on, bro. You lived in Oakland, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lived there as a young age, so I've seen some things. But you from that. You from there.
Well, I mean, I'm like you. I was a youngster too. I've been back several times, and of course, I still keep in contact with the folks that's out there. But still, like you, it was long. It doesn't matter to me how long you have been in a certain place. Is what you were exposed to while you were there.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen a lot. Especially in the 90s era in California. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot. John Morant, you haven't seen nothing. Your father make sure you wasn't exposed to that.
And you know what it kind of reminds me of, D? Michael Irvin, the playmaker himself.
Okay.
His son can rap. His son is a rap star. I won't say a star, but he's a rapper.
Right.
And he talks about all of these things from the street. And Michael Irvin said, son, what are you talking about? You grew up in a 20,000 square foot house in a gated community. I mean,
we just come from an era. We come from an era now where you have to fabricate to make it. You have to be this fake gangsters or these fake thugs, or you got to say stuff in your raps just for credibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It's sad because back then, if you want to go far back, we could go back to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, called The Message. The Message was real. It came from the streets.
And
It told
even
you what's going on in the Bronx. You know what
and,
I'm saying?
and even after that, when you had two other songs that came out, one from the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
another one from the East Coast. The one from the East Coast was Self Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
The one from the West Coast was We're All in the Same Gang. And if you weren't in any gang or any affiliated criminal organization,
Right.
dude, what are you doing? As a matter of fact, I can't remember who it was, but it was a blood from California. I want to say from Carson, California,
Right.
which is LA area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to Ja Morant about this very same thing and was trying to explain to Ja, look, man, you don't want this smoke. You can't be out here throwing up blood signs, acting like you part of the Bloods and you not really part of the Bloods, and then somebody catch you and it's gonna be a problem. Because
Facts.
they don't have no problem with knocking off celebrities, athletes, none, any of the like. They have no problem because if they take that as a blatant disrespect to everything that they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So my guy, man,
Just because you got a little bit of money doesn't mean you was not brought up in a gang.
and I look at all those tattoos he got, man. I'm like, all right, how many of those tattoos are quote unquote gang affiliated?
Probably none. Probably none.
No, I beg to differ. I bet you there's more than one. I bet you there's more than one.
Hmm.
I
You
don't
know what? I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I'm just at a point with John Morant. I'm just like, I used to be a fan of him when he came out of Marquette. He was one of those star-studded guys that came out of Marquette and put that team back on the map. We haven't seen Marquette have that type of notoriety since Dwayne Wade.
know. Mm-hmm.
So I liked it, John Moran. I liked him when he got drafted. He kept his head down and he worked hard and he put himself up to stardom. And now you get this stardom, and now you want to flip the script. It just doesn't work that way for me. It just doesn't. It doesn't work that way for me. Like, you just flip the script. You feel like you don't care about the kids no more. And in mind you, the kids can, like you said earlier, you don't consider yourself a role model, but these kids consider you a role model.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say it yourself, like, oh, I'm John Morant and I'm a role model. No, you don't have to say that. But kids is buying your sneakers. Kids are buying your jersey. Kids are buying your brand. They're buying anything they see on social media that you're promoting. They're going to go out and get because they are a fan of you. You are a brand outside of the NBA. And once you get off that court, you are a brand. So
Well,
you have to treat yourself as a brand when it comes to these kids.
no, you're a brand 24/7 because it's the brand that took the hit when he was not on the court, but in a club and then in a car showing the guns. So
Facts. Facts. You're right
so
about
so
that.
so you are a brand 24/7. You can't dictate as a brand because and my wife had to tell me this. She said you just by you being who you are, you have to be careful of certain things that you put in or that you tweet or you post on social media because you are a brand. You may not look at yourself as a brand, but you are a brand. And you know what?
Right.
She's 100% right.
I had to learn that as well. Definitely had to learn that as well. Some things you just like now that you get into this industry, like any industry, no matter if it's what we doing right here, no matter what we're doing, no matter what somebody else is doing, if you are a brand and you have an LLC, you got to move a certain way. everything can't be posted the way you post on social media before you wasn't a brand. You
Right.
can't just post all the crazy stuff. You really have to be cautious about what you post and what you do while posting it.
Mm-hmm. You're right. 100%. 100% correct. Well, let's talk about some social media comments real quick. Keith Meeks, my dog, love your podcast indeed. Shout out from Iowa.
Shout out to my boy Keith, man. He was in Philly a couple weeks ago for the national tournament for college wrestling. And
Oh, okay.
here in Philadelphia, he's a big college wrestling fan. He coaches younger kids in the actual form, not sports entertainment, the actual form of wrestling that they do. Because sports entertainment and wrestling, I mean, even though wrestling is real, but it's entertainment at the same time. I just want to throw that out there to make it clear.
It's real. It's real.
The storyline is fake, but the actual wrestling in the ring is real. It's actually real. But shout out to my boy Keith. You know, he's a Baltimore Ravens fan. You know, I don't know where he get the Baltimore Ravens fan thing from, knowing that he live in Iowa. But hey, that's my boy. I've been seeing. He's been a part of my network for years. So shout out to my boy Keith, man. Really appreciate it.
Didn't we beat them last year? I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Keith didn't speak to me for like a week. He didn't speak to me for like a week, bro. What's going on, Brandon? What's up, man? Shout out to you, man. Raider Nation all day.
Y'all keep dropping the comments, man. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook through our personal pages and our group pages. My LinkedIn page, DH Impact, YouTube, and of course Twitter.
I'm not gonna lie. On my other channel on the Sports Wire, I say that. I'm like, let me share it to my Twitter. I say shout out to my boy Willie, because now I start doing that.
And we tried to get on Instagram TV, but Instagram TV sometimes be tripping. And I think I think I'm the one that messed it up, because I didn't go in and redo the stream keys. So that's why.
Yeah, you gotta do it every time, right?
Yeah, you gotta do it every time. So, and I was on Instagram Live a little while ago, and I didn't go back in and reset it. So that's my fault for all of the Instagram watchers out there. Yeah, but John Morant, man, do better, bro. Do better, be better. You already know better, or maybe you don't, but know better first, then do better so you can be better. And that's just real talk from some OGs, man. All right,
I'm gonna just say this one more thing. If the Grizzlies play tonight and I see this, I'm going to make a reel and I'm gonna just cuss you out.
You ain't gonna see it. You ain't gonna see it tonight,
because he already did it last night.
Yeah,
he did it last night against my Miami Heat. Yeah, he lucky I ain't really got the words that I really want to say on here, but okay.
Yeah, well, just if you're gonna do it in this segment or the last segment, because in the next segment, none of that's gonna be allowed.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Say no more. But we definitely going to take a quick break here. We are. So make sure y'all, sit back, relax. It's Friday. Get your wings. Get whatever. But we will be right back with our next segment, and we definitely going to talk about what we going to go into some baseball. Man?
No. We're gonna talk Geno Smith, Brandon. We're gonna talk Geno Smith and the extension and what we think it means as for Raider Nation and in particular the draft. So we're going to mute our mics and turn off our cams. We're gonna play a couple. Well, actually, yeah, we're gonna play a couple of commercials, and then we shall return in just a moment. All right. Come on back and holler at us.
This episode of the Darian Hopkins Sports Show is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the #1 platform to browse, discover, and experience best events in town, all in the palm of your hand. From heart-pounding concerts that can make you dance to nail-biting sports games that can keep you on the edge of your seat, SeatGeek has it all. From exclusive deals and personalized recommendations tailored just for you. Use the promo code DHopkins and get $20 off your first purchase. So join the movement. SeatGeek. Get up, get out, and get tickets. Are you ready to take your energy to the next level? W Energy is a proud sponsor of the Darian Hopkins Sports Show, your go-to source for all things sports. W Energy isn't just another drink. It's packed with natural ingredients, zero sugar, and no fillers. Whether you're training like me, grinding through work, or just leveling up on your favorite game, W got you covered. The Darian Hopkins Sports Show is powered by W Energy, and you can be too. Experience the sustained energy and enhanced focus to keep me at the top of my game. Here's an exclusive offer for the Darian Hopkins Sports Show fans. Using promo code DHopkins at checkout and get 10% off your first purchase. So don't wait. Boost your energy and take the world today. W Energy. Fuel your greatness every step of the way.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing, not walking, strapped to the pong, and they toss us, smacking, they sleep with the coffins, and they getting greedy like saying, give me all.
Yeah, we welcome you guys back to the second segment of the Shakeback Sports Show. And of course, we are simulcasting with the DH Impact Media. It's your boy Willie Epteen Jr. Man, we are rolling. Got the big homie in here with me, Darian Hopkins. Man, Darian, what's going on, brother?
We're going. We good, man. We good. You know, it's Friday. You know, it's the weekend, so I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, and just in case you guys missed it in the first segment, and we may be able to get to this here shortly, but I don't know. We'll see. If we can't get it in, we'll come back on the other side of the break and get it in over there. But yeah, in the first segment, I had a debate with this sick host. Of course, that's Big Day, the dopest engineer on the planet, regarding a debate that we had off air talking about the all-time great, elite, and just great quarterbacks. So maybe D can chime in on that. We're going to get into some Geno Smith and the Raiders extension here in just a second. This second segment, it is being brought to you by the Strike Zone. Catch all of the long ball, base stealing, and baseball action of the Strike Zone radio broadcast featuring the 2025 Crowley Eagles in their pursuit of a UIL state championship. For schedules and times, go to bgcsports.net. Again, that is bgcsports.net. Shout out to Ace Gentry Little. He's always on the call out there, and I'm going to say it until I actually get out there. We do have a baseball show on the network, 12s and 6s, 1s and 7s, Central Time, weekdays right here on the Big GC Sports Network. And shout out to Anna and Mike for helping the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show be the number one listened to show on the weekdays for the month of March on the network. So I appreciate them doing that. And of course, anything that is shouted out like that, it always deserves one of these. Yeah, we don't want to do it again, but I guess that's what it is sometimes. All right, D, let's go ahead and get to this Raider talk. The news came out on Thursday that Geno, or maybe Wednesday, it was Wednesday. Geno Smith signs a 2-year extension, $66 million guaranteed, up to $85 million, I believe it was, in total value. Was this the right move by the Raiders?
Yes, I think this was absolutely a great move. And the reason why I say that, because number one is when he's not going to see that contract until next year, because he's already getting that $31 million from the trade. So I need a lot of the Raider Nation to prompt their brakes. I understand it's a lot of money, but he's only going to get $31 million this year. He won't see any of that guarantee money, which is, I think it's 47 and a half, if I'm not mistaken, that he's going to get guaranteed. The guarantee money that he's going to get, but he ain't going to see that till next season. And we're trying to look at it as right now. So, I mean, I like what the Raiders did. We was like number 2 in cap space when it comes to the NFL. So, yeah, I still think the Raiders are still going to go get a quarterback. Will we go get a quarterback in the first round? No. But will we still get a quarterback in this draft? Absolutely. Only reason why I say that is because Geno Smith is only going to be there for 3 years. He's already in his 30s.
Right.
And to learn behind Geno Smith and the success that he has been getting with the Seattle Seahawks, even under Pete Carroll, and the numbers that he's put up in the last 3 to 4 years, the numbers has been great. Yeah, the interceptions might have to come down a little bit, but the year before last year, he only had 9 interceptions. So I can't be mad at Geno for this. He don't want to be a one and done quarterback in Las Vegas. So he got himself the bag. And people keep saying that, oh, it's more than Sam Darnold. Yeah, it's more than Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold only had one good year in the NFL in his whole career, and that was last year. So now he's getting all this money, and Geno is going once we do what we do in the draft, and we get another receiver outside of Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, I think we're going to be fine. I think we're absolutely going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think for this particular deal now, Raider Nation, let's remember also that the Seahawks are picking up that salary for 2025 for Geno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So really and truly, we kind of finessed the Seahawks a little bit.
Sure
And when you think about Geno Smith and what he's been able to, he's had his best years under Pete Carroll. Now, granted, he ain't gonna have a DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett, but he does have Brock Bowers and a Jacoby Ford. I said that the last time. Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, who is, he may not be a number 1 receiver, but he is a solid number 2. And I think for Raider Nation, we need to relax in terms of the fact that it's not really going to cost us that much against the cap, because that's why the extension was done, to keep that number down.
Right.
So let me ask you this, D. And we know that the draft is coming up at the end of the month. So if Shedeur Sanders, who had his pro day on Friday, Travis Hunter, who also had his pro day on Friday, Cam Ward had his pro day last week. If for some reason Shedeur slides to 6, and the Browns and the Giants, and we already know that New England's not going to take him because they have Drake May.
Yeah.
Do we see a situation where the Raiders will still take Shedeur if he slides all the way to 6?
I think that's, for me, I feel like that's a fan's pick and not a Raiders pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Shedeur. I have nothing against Shedeur. And will I be okay with drafting Shedeur? Yes. But to pass up on Alshon Jeudy, knowing that where our running back committee is right now for the Las Vegas Raiders, I think you got to go with the best player available. And right now, when at that position, Jeudy is the top running back in when it comes to the just not from position, but like if you ever look at the mock drafts or you look at the media rankings, Jeudy is the first running back off the board no matter where he goes.
True.
No matter if he drops to 10, no matter if he drops out of the top 10, he's going to be the first running back to go. I love Shedeur Sanders. I do. But I think Shedeur Sanders wants to go somewhere where he can play right now. And being behind Geno Smith for 3 years, I don't think Shedeur wants that. My heart is with Jeudy because we need a running back. And the reason why I say Jeudy is because Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. You see what type of offensive philosophy that he likes to do. Run first and protect the quarterback. Make sure the quarterback is not having turnovers. But we don't have a running back on the roster right now that can get us 1 yard, that can get us 2 yards. We don't have a running back on the roster right now that can do that.
Right.
If you could go out and get a Jeudy or a Scatterboo or a Hampton or a Blue, those guys can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not passionate up on Jeudy for Shedeur Sanders. I'm just not doing it, knowing that we have Geno Smith to 2027.
Right.
I'm just not doing that.
Shout out to Trey Lance. Breaking news: Trey Lance has just signed a 1-year, $6.2 million deal with
Going to the Android Chargers. That's what I call them. The chokers and the Android Chargers.
Oh my gosh. All right. D, I want to get you in here on this conversation that I had in the first segment.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to shoot holes at my story that I'm sticking to about the quarterbacks and in terms of greatness and legacy. As I said in the first segment, to me, there's three rooms. There's all-time elite, there's all-time great, and then there's great. For me, all-time elite, Tom Brady belongs there, no question. Peyton Manning belongs there, no question. Joe Montana belongs there, no question. Some people seem to think that Drew Brees belongs there. I don't agree. Aaron Rodgers is in there, no question. Dan Marino and wait a minute, don't shake your head just yet. Dan Marino and Drew Brees would be fringe all-time elites in my book. Now tell me why Aaron Rodgers is not an all-time elite quarterback.
Let me just, the word elite itself kind of makes me mad because I think people forget what the word elite actually means. Now, I had a status, not even status, I had a post that I uploaded on this channel on why Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback right now.
No,
But
let me stop you. Let me stop you.
I'm only reason why listen, if you want to stop me right now about the Jalen Hurts, I could break it down on why.
Well, this is the thing.
More.
This is the thing. We are compressed in time with the second segment. So
okay.
I need, that's the only reason why I'm stopping you.
Only reason people think you're winning a league MVP makes you elite. Yes, he won 4 MVPs, but he's only been to 1 Super Bowl. When the last time we sniffed Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl since he won his last Super Bowl? How many losses that he had in NFC Championship games that he choked? So how that makes him in that tier with Joe Montana's and everybody else that you listed.
Mm-hmm.
Because Aaron Rodgers could, like, those guys was able to make it to multiple Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers had that chance to make it to multiple Super Bowls with the offense that he had, and they still could not get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I care about league MVPs? I don't care for league MVPs because you can win a league MVP and never sniff a Super Bowl. What have you done?
Right.
You're just a regular season player.
Right.
You're just a regular season great. You're not a postseason great, or you're not an overall great, in my opinion.
Right. And to be honest, Big D, I put it like this. Not everybody is going to have the same criteria.
Right.
Okay. I get that. And I'm not trying to convince anybody out there that a player either is or is not this or that. Just based on my own criteria, I believe Aaron Rodgers is an all-time elite, and I'll give you my reasons why. Number one, he has a Super Bowl MVP, which is something that you need to have. You need to have, in my opinion, you got to have, these are the things that you got to have. You got to have at least 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and or at least 2 regular season MVPs. Now, Aaron Rodgers does have 1 Super Bowl MVP and 1 Super Bowl win, but he has 4 MVPs. He's got more Pro Bowls than anybody else other than the ones that we know are fixed in that room. And also, Aaron Rodgers, do you know that Aaron Rodgers has had double-digit interceptions only 3 times in his career? One of them was last year. One of them was his first year that he ever started. And then another one was somewhere in the middle. The dude has 516 touchdown passes and only 100 and some odd interceptions. That's elite, bro.
Yeah, but you're saying regular season.
But that's what I'm saying. It encompasses it all. That's not the only part. Not only is it not the only part, it's not even the major part, but it is a part of it.
I completely understand the stats of this. I completely do. Now, if we would have had a conversation that Aaron Rodgers would have made it to the Super Bowl again, or made it to 2 more Super Bowls, then we might have this conversation. But he only made it to 1 Super Bowl and won it and have not been back since.
Right. But and that
Have not
is
been back since. But we talk about quarterbacks greats, right? We
Mhm.
want to talk about quarterback greats. And Aaron Rodgers is probably still one of the because he did win 1 Super Bowl. I completely understand that. But from your criteria, you said at least 2 Super Bowl MVPs or 2 or more Super Bowls. He has not
or
done it.
or 2 or
2
more
Super Bowls.
regular season MVPs.
I
But
don't
even
see that's your criteria. I don't
exactly.
care for regular season MVPs. I don't care for that.
Okay.
Because I would love to say why Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I mean they are elite, but they are regular season elites. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because they are regular season players. They cannot get over the hump. And
Right.
that's what Aaron Rodgers, after he won that 1 Super Bowl, he could not get over the hump. He had multiple chances. And almost every year with the Packers, he made the playoffs. And you still could not get back to Super Bowl in those years. And
Mhm.
they was on your home turf.
Yeah.
I just can't put him up there with those names of Brady and Montana. I just can't. There's no compare. There's Aaron Rodgers. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't put him in that comparison. I just can't. Now Peyton Manning, that's a different story. You can put Peyton Manning up there, but even though Peyton Manning had a terrible Super Bowl game, he still won 2 Super Bowls. He still won it. He still got back there with his old age with the Denver Broncos. But Aaron Rodgers, he's an all-time great. Yes, he is. Stats wise, 1 Super Bowl, all that. But to
Mhm.
put him in that tier with Tom Brady and Joe Montana, can't do it.
I understand completely. So let me ask you this, because we got about a minute left to go in the segment before we have to jump out of here, and then we're gonna take another break. I was having this discussion with Big Day, and he basically said that Terry Bradshaw is an all-time elite. He's not. He's not. His numbers were terrible. He has 4 Super Bowl championships, yes. But I look at it like this. In order to be considered an all-time great and or an all-time elite, you have to be mentioned during your prime with your peers as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We never really said that about Terry Bradshaw. We never said that about Eli Manning. We never said that really about Jim Kelly and others. But we said that about Dan Marino. We said that about Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and the rest. All right. That is going to do it for segment 2 of the Shake Back Sports Show. Thank you, D, for coming in and doing your thing with me. Y'all come back here on the other side of the break. I got some predictions on the Final Four. And, man, John Morant, I actually dove into it a little bit more. So, Big Day, Willie Epstein Jr., D, y'all come on back and holler at us.
All right. This episode of the Darian Hopkins Sports Show is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the #1 platform to browse, discover, and experience best events in town, all in the palm of your hand. From heart-pounding concerts that can make you dance to nail-biting sports games that can keep you on the edge of your seat. SeatGeek has it all, from exclusive deals and personalized recommendations tailored just for you. Use the promo code DHopkins and get $20 off your first purchase. So join the movement. SeatGeek. Get up, get out, and get tickets.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing out walking, strapped to the pong, getting tossed, and smacking they sleep with the coffins.
Are you ready to take your energy to the next level? W Energy is a proud sponsor of the Darian Hopkins Sports Show, your go-to source for all things sports. W Energy isn't just another drink. It's packed with natural ingredients, zero sugar, and no fillers. Whether you're training like me, grinding through work, or just leveling up on your favorite game, W got you covered. The Darian Hopkins Sports Show is powered by W Energy, and you can be too. Experience the sustained energy and enhanced focus to keep me at the top of my game. Here's an exclusive offer for the Darian Hopkins Sports Show fans. Using promo code DHopkins at checkout and get 10% off your first purchase. So don't wait. Boost your energy and take the world today. W Energy. Fuel your greatness every step of the way.
All right. Welcome back to DH Impact along with the Shake Back. We are the Shake Back Impact Sports Podcast. Darian came back before I was ready, but we do have yet another sponsor that we need to make sure that they get some love. Let's go ahead and take care. Let's go ahead and take care of that right now.
Ladies, life can get overwhelming, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Jump Life Coaching Solutions, we specialize in helping women like you to regain clarity, confidence, and control. I'm Patrice Epteen, a certified life coach, here to walk alongside you through life's toughest moments, whether it's relationships, mental health, or building a stronger mindset. Together, we'll create a plan tailored just for you to step into your best self. Take the first step today. Visit Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions by calling for your free consultation at 469-358-5241. You're strong, capable, and deserving of the life you dream of. Let's make it happen together. Visit Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions by calling for your free consultation at 469-358-5241. Whether it's relationships, mental health, or building a stronger mindset, visit Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions by calling for your free consultation at 469-358-5241. Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions. Ladies, life can get overwhelming, but you don't have to navigate it alone.
And I tell you what, she must have heard that on the freeway or something, because she just pulled up to the house. So shout out to my beautiful rib for that read. All right, Big D, you can take us on home, man. What we got up next?
We have a few things. I want to talk about the NIL. I want to talk about the transfer portal.
Okay.
And the only reason why I want to talk about this is because this is my issue with the transport portal. Now, even from the women's basketball side of things, it was a stat that came out that was on 3. On 3 is like a college basketball, source for a lot of things. It has been over 1,200 women have entered the transfer portal, and we're still have a Final Four tonight. So, like, I'm really confused on this. We heard about Olivia Miles. We heard about Fly J. Johnson. We heard about a lot of college football players, college basketball players, men and women, in the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So my problem is this. I think to open up the transfer portal, it should be after the season is done. And with the NIL, I'm just advocating for the women's game, because we know the NBA is going to be there. People, the rules are different for men's college basketball, but I'm advocating for the women because I understand why the women is staying for their senior year, because they feel like the NIL deals is going to convert into endorsement and it's going to turn into less money once they get drafted. So my question to you, Willie, is this. Is the NIL and the transfer portal killing college sports? Not just basketball, not just football, just in general. Is it killing college sports? Because we had this conversation. Actually, I heard the conversation. We didn't hear, but I heard the conversation about there wasn't no Cinderellas in this college basketball tournament. It wasn't no Cinderellas. Even in the college football playoff, it wasn't no Cinderellas because of the transfer portal and the NIL deals. Do you think it's killing the sport with this transfer portal and the NIL deals?
I'm going to take them one at a time, because I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's killing the college athletics in either format or in either arena, if you will. Simply because the NIL, it gives the opportunity for student athletes, emphasis on students. It gives opportunities for student athletes that play lacrosse or softball or tennis even. track and field. Those are sports in which we know there's no chance that they can go pro in unless they go overseas somewhere.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say that in that regard, that I do not think that it is harming the sport from an NIL standpoint. Now, in the bigger sports, football, baseball, basketball, not everybody's going to the league. Not everybody's going to the majors. And even in baseball, when you play college baseball, you're not going straight from college to the bigs. It's not happening. You're going to go to, probably double, no higher than AAA, unless you're Bryce Harper or King Griffey Jr. or Alex Rodriguez. And those talents don't come around every single day. So it gives an opportunity for those kids to continue to earn big money before even getting on a professional stage. Now, the transfer portal, I have more of a problem with than I do with the NIL, because I'm not going to ever really downplay or denigrate any student athlete that has an opportunity to make money for themselves and or their family. But the transfer portal, I have a more of an issue with, because it's like now these kids are so afraid of competition that if I don't get in after the first 3 games of my first year, I'm entering the transfer portal. Well, dang, what happened to working hard? What happened to doing everything you got to do in the off season in order to get yourself in a position to where you can earn more playing time, as opposed to, well, you know what? I'm going to enter the transfer portal, and I'm going to tell you a squad that benefited from the transfer portal in this NCAA tournament for the men, the McNeese State Cowboys. They benefited more than any other team in the tournament from the transfer portal, because all 5 of their dudes, or let me say this, most of their main contributors came from somewhere else. They came from a D1 school or FCS or whatever you want to call it, but they came from a D1 school to McNeese, which would be considered a Division 1 AA back in the day. It just so happens that in college basketball, it's all lumped together. So in that respect, I look at the transfer portal as something that would ruin the game more so than NIL ever would, because of the lack of emphasis on competition.
Now, I can agree to that extent, but for me, I feel like they play hand in hand, because you have people that go into the transfer portal just because they want to go into the transfer portal to go to another school and play at another school. But we have players going into the transfer portal trying to get bigger money getting offered to them from colleges. So that kind of plays hand in hand, because if you're in the transfer portal and you're just in the transfer portal just to go to a different school and you got like a 5th year left because of injury and something of that nature, I don't mind that. Olivia Miles is doing that. She got hurt in the Sweet 16. She missed out a whole year, torn her ACL, and she entered the transfer portal because she did her years at Notre Dame and she couldn't win anything. So she wanted to go somewhere else to finish out her college career before she goes into the draft and be 100% healthy going into the draft next year. So I'm not mad at that. But what I am mad about is you're going in the transfer portal so you can see what other colleges are offering you when it comes to money. That's what I feel like is being killed at in that area itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they start to play hand in hand. Okay, whoever college gives me the most money, that's where I'm going. I think they need to separate the two. I think the NCAA needs to fix that. Because at some points, you're going to get college, you're going to get money from the colleges. You are. But I don't feel like it should be a requirement on why you're going in the transfer portal.
Here's the problem with that, though. Here's the problem with that. The NCAA has nothing to do with NIL.
No. I'm saying, like, as far as like in control of the transfer portal.
Oh, okay. I got you.
In control of the transfer portal, like if a college if like it should be some type of requirement, some type of standard on why you're going into the transfer portal. Yes, you can ask for it, like you can transfer anywhere you want to transfer to. But if you're just transferring just for the money, That's an issue for me.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
issue. There's no like it's like me leaving Temple to go to LaSalle because there's more money, but both teams are trash. So what am I transferring for?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's players going to schools just for the money and not for the program. So
Right.
we have to figure out a way for the transfer portal to be about, okay, I want to go somewhere where I can be better and go to a school that I know I can succeed at academically and as an athlete, not just because the money.
Right. That makes sense when you put it that way. And the NCAA is the root cause for all of this because of their ineptitude, because of their inability to govern correctly, and all of those stupid restrictions that they put on these student athletes back in the day when you couldn't even get if you got a bagel with cream cheese on it, you better make sure that the cream cheese was plain, because if you got cream cheese with the strawberry flavor, you were in violation. I mean, and that's what they get.
Yeah.
I hope the NCAA, I hope they get everything that's coming to them, because they have been so corrupt for so long, and they have exploited these kids from football all the way to any other sport for what they've done on the field. And then when a student athlete wants to get money just to buy a pizza, or for gas money, or for their parents may need something, then they want to take away Heisman trophies. It's just it's wrong.
Reggie Bush type stuff.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong.
And you take away national championships in basketball. You take away accolades because of this stuff. And that was the 90s, early 2000s era where we seen that. We seen that. And on top of that, they had to bring college football back when it comes to the video game, because back then the game was just being played and using their attributes and everything, and the players was not getting paid at all.
Right.
So now you see that it was since 2012 since they had a game out, and they finally put the game back this year because now the players are able to get revenue off the video games.
So here I got a question, because back then it was called NCAA, whatever it was, whatever the year was. Do they still have NCAA on there, or are they just saying college football and whatever the year is?
I think it's in college football 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to look it up.
Let me just double check that.
I got it. I got it. You go ahead, and I'm just like, and that whole thing was spawned by the O'Bannon boys from UCLA.
Right.
You know, and the O'Bannon boys, Charles and Ed, they were great college players. They didn't do nothing in the NBA. And maybe even they knew at that time that they weren't going to be making tons of money in the NBA for them to go back and really fight for that the way that they did. So I don't have any problem with any college athlete or student athlete getting all that they can simply because they deserve it. Now, here's another question for you. Do you think it'll ever get to a point to where the colleges are actually playing these players?
They are actually paying these players now.
Because NIL is different.
Because of the NIL. But there is some major colleges are paying these players because how the coaches are being paid. Now let's talk about that in that situation, because now we see these coaches get paid like college football coaches. They get paid like the NFL. Why do you think you have not seen a lot of college coaches jump to the NFL anymore? Because they colleges are paying out their pocket to make sure that they get the bag in college football than they'll do in the NFL. So if you look at this, it's called EA Sports College Football 2025.
There it is, right there.
They took NCAA completely out of it.
Right. As they should have.
As they should have. Because like even with the NIL deals, like you have some schools that were like, oh, I will pay you this amount of money to come to my school. and it will be completely legal now because of the NIL and how the NIL rules are set.
Mm-hmm.
You have certain colleges that can afford that, like a lot of Power 5 D1 colleges can afford that, and you have some colleges that gives a lower standard because they make their money in college, they do. But the NIL deals, if you have a big brand that's going to pay you $20,000, $25,000 on top of what the college is paying you, you're good.
Right. I feel that.
So, like how NIL set it up, yeah, NIL is a part of it, but it is some colleges out there that's coming up right out their pocket to pay for players,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not illegal anymore.
Yeah. All right, man. We got what? We are sitting at an hour, so we got about another 15 minutes left. So, can we spend the last time talking about a little bit of baseball?
Oh, because I know you wanted to talk about the NFL draft too. I did have that pulled up, but we
Okay.
can definitely go into the baseball. But we could definitely talk about it. I'll definitely that's more your segment. So
Well,
we could get into baseball. That's no problem.
Well, I just want to mention a couple things about it, and then we can go to the NFL draft and what we said we were going to talk about. There's been a couple of extensions out there. Ketel Marte with the Arizona Diamondbacks, he got a 6-year extension, putting him up. He's going to be with the Diamondbacks through 2031, I want to say. Over 120 million, I believe that one was. Christian Campbell, the rookie from Boston, the Red Sox. He actually got an extension in his rookie year, 8 years, like 110 million. And which is, it's going to wind up being a bargain before it's all said and done. It's a lot of money to him now because he's probably only 21 years old. And then there was another extension that now I just can't remember who it was. Ketel Marte, Christian Thompson, and
Jackson Holiday
from the San Diego Padres. He got an extension and this is his second year. So you see these rookies or these second year players getting these massive extensions. And they're going to secure the bag for the next 8 to 10 years with an opportunity to secure another bag after that. So, and then one other thing about baseball is the freaking Yankees, man, they have hit 22 home runs after like 6 games.
again?
Obviously a Major League Baseball record as they welcome in to Yankee Stadium this weekend. I believe it is they played the Diamondbacks. So I think it's the Diamondbacks who we just talked about with Ketel Marte. So baseball is ramping up already. So yeah, looking forward to all of that. All right, so the draft. Let's get to it.
We're gonna get to that, but I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
For baseball.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever feel that baseball, like the way these players are getting paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to start putting a collective bargaining agreement together? Will you ever see a CBA in MLB?
Well, there is a collective bargaining agreement. There's not
like a salary cap.
There's no salary cap.
Salary cap because the way these guys are getting paid is ridiculous. This is why MLB is the highest paid major league sport in America because of that. But do you feel like ever in the future, do you ever see a salary cap on MLB?
Not before I leave here. I don't think so, because I'm gonna tell you why. This is what I think. I'm not reporting anything. Nobody has said anything to me. This is just what I believe.
Okay.
The Major League Baseball Players Union is one of the most powerful unions in the world. Okay. They stand up for themselves unlike any other sport. And I think that for Major League Baseball, it is a polar opposite of that what the NFL is. The NFL players, they can't have a work stoppage or go on strike because somebody's going to cross that line. Well, in Major League Baseball, not so much. Not saying that it won't happen, but not so much. It is the most powerful union on the face of the planet. So they're going to band together against those ownership groups that may try to implement a salary cap. I just don't think I'll ever see it happen. Put your kids in baseball, parents.
Yes, I'm highly recommended because whenever I have kids, I'm not putting them in basketball. I'm not putting them in football. I am putting them in baseball. That would be their first sport. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for the other two sports. Baseball would be the sport for my kids, or softball, whatever, even boy or girl, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So now we could get into the NFL draft. So what I did was, and me and Willie talked about this earlier this morning, and I did a mock draft. I did a first round mock draft. I just simulated and let it go by itself. And the results came out, and we're going to pull it up right there. If you can see that and how that fell when it comes to this draft, you have we could talk about just the top 10. We don't have to go through all of this. But we could just go through the top 10. How we all know that Cameron Ward is going to be the number 1 overall pick for the Tennessee Titans. We already know that. Travis Hunter going to the Browns. I thought that probably would have been a Shedeur Sanders. Honestly. Abdul Carter going to the Giants, knowing they don't get a quarterback. Mind you, this is from Pro Football Sports Network. This is where I got it from. So I just simulated this, and I didn't make these picks. We didn't make these picks. This was just fast simulated. Will Campbell going to the Patriots. I think that makes sense in my personal opinion, because you got to protect Drake May. Will Johnson going to Michigan. We talked about it in the last show, how his stock really dropped a lot. So I'm kind of surprised that he's there at 5, because I thought Mason Graham would have been there at 5. And it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders, and Alshon Jeffrey is there. Interesting, because right at this number 7 overall pick is the most interesting, because the Jets just got Justin Fields, and you pick up Shedeur Sanders in the first round at 7 overall, and he drops that far down. That's interesting to me. You got T-Mac. I could never get that name right, so I call him T-Mac, the wide receiver from Arizona. I'm kind of surprised that he dropped it well, but Bryce Young does need another weapon. And Bryce Young came on later on in the year and showed that he could actually play in the NFL, because for me personally, you might laugh at this, Bryce Young looked like a junior varsity quarterback.
He did.
From his body type. He looked like a junior varsity quarterback. He did.
Well, guess what on that, on Bryce Young? I had gotten some information from my girl Geno, the professional fan, that had said, like, around that point in time, Bryce Young and his girl was having a whole bunch of problems, and it really messed them up. So being benched was probably the best thing that happened for him.
Okay.
So yeah, just want to throw that in there.
So Mason Graham going to the New Orleans Saints. They do need a defensive tackle, but the Saints has a lot of needs too. And you're getting Armand Menabu from Missouri. I think that's a good pickup for the Chicago Bears. And I'm gonna say this for the Chicago Bears fans. You could be happy the way this offseason went. Y'all had the best offseason out of any team in the league. Y'all addressed your offensive line with veterans and young players. You went out and got you could go out and still go get a running back in this draft, because the running back is still deep in this draft. But Armand Menabu is one of the top, outside of Will Kim, one of the top offensive linemen in this draft. And you're going to find protection for Caleb Williams. But they got Tyler Warren going to the Dallas Cowboys at 12. Interesting move there.
Yeah, especially when you look at what the Dallas Cowboys' major needs are, which are bodies up front for the D-line. DeMarcus Ware is now in Seattle, so that actually is going to open up more offensive linemen to whip the offensive line or defensive line rather, and keep Micah Parsons out the way. That's a bit of a surprise that they will go tight end at that position.
Yeah. And just to let everyone know that if you see these blue marks here, that means trade happened. Because if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles at 17, they traded up. They traded up from the 32 overall pick. And what's crazy about it, I don't think they should have traded, because James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee is a dog. And I mean, if he falls all the way to 32, if the Eagles are there in real life and they still there, because I have heard some rumors I have heard some rumors, and I'm gonna get to that as well. But James Pierce is a dog, and I'm a Tennessee Vol fan, and I've seen him play. For him to fall to 32 goes crazy to me. It's insane. But I do like this. I do like this draft here. A lot of edge, a lot of linebackers, a lot of offensive linemen. You don't see any other running back come off the board, and that's what gets me back to the segment from the Raiders segment that we had. You see no other running back in this first round come off the board.
Right.
You can't pass up on Alshon Jeffrey if you're the Las Vegas. You can't pass it up. You can't see like wide receivers. Yeah, you can pass up on one, but Gentry, you can't pass up on a guy like that. You just can't.
Let me ask you a question. Even with the question marks around the Raiders offensive line, and as we talked about in the last show, I know you're happy that Andre James is out of there.
Right.
Glaze showed a lot of promise. Powers Johnson showed a lot of promise. We need Colton Miller to be Colton Miller that he was 3 years ago. But what about the signing of Alex Kappa in free agency from the Cincinnati Bengals? He had one of the worst win rates in the league last year.
He had a down year. He had a down year last year.
Do you think that improves? And maybe it does because he's now with his boys, Spytek and Tom Brady, of course. But do you think that improves this year? And if it does, that should make the Jonty pick that much more valuable.
Now, I think Alex Kappa is going to be a depth piece. I don't think he's going to come in and be a starter. He's going to have to earn his way to be a starter on his offensive line. Now, if we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line, they've never been great. If you look at it from history, you look at it from Joe Burrow being the most sacked, there was never a good offensive line. So who that starts with? Your offensive line coach. And before he got there, was we talking about how bad Alex Kappa was in Tampa Bay? Absolutely not.
No,
we wasn't.
No.
So I feel like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt to bounce back from a bad year last year. Because Colton Miller had a bad year last year. You know what I'm saying? Like we was going for his head last year, him and Andre James.
Well, Colton Miller's had a bad couple seasons.
Yeah, but you see that he improved and progressed. He probably degressed last year compared to how he progressed the year before.
Right. He got the bag the year before that, and it's been downhill ever since.
Right. But at the same time, I would rather whoever our offensive line is for the Las Vegas Raiders, if we can get Kappa back to that him protecting Tom Brady and Tampa Bay type, I can see him being a starter. But you got to think about it too. Mumford's going to try to fight for that spot too.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of offensive linemen fighting for spots. Because I think we still got Jordan Meredith as well. I think we still got him under contract. So when it comes to that offensive line, however they gel, you still have a veteran presence in Alex Kappa.
Let me put that back up on the screen real quick because I want to ask you a question about somebody.
Okay.
And you got two tight ends potentially going in the top 15 with Colston Loveland going to the Colts and, of course, Tyler Warren going to the Cowboys. Tyler Warren has been compared to Rob Gronkowski. But I saw him play a little bit last year for Penn State.
Okay.
But because you've watched a lot more college football than I have, but do you think the Cowboys are thinking that Tyler Warren could be the next Gronk? And that may be the reason why they're slated right here?
I mean, they said that about Brock Bowers last year. They said that when we drafted him out of Georgia, they thought that he was the Brock. They thought Brock Bowers was the Rob Gronkowski of college football last year. So I can see the comparison between Rob Gronkowski and Tyler Warren because body specimen, the way they break tackles, the way they run routes, But for me, Rob, you're getting a young Rob Gronkowski out of Brock Bowers and Tyler Warren. You're getting that athleticism. You're getting that yards after the catch type of tight ends. Now, will the Dallas Cowboys go get a tight end at 12? I don't think they should. But even for Colston Loveland, that is a great fit for him in Indianapolis because that's what Indianapolis needs. They haven't had a great tight end since Eric Ebron, even before that. So
the Colts?
Yes, the Colts have not had a great tight end since like what Dallas Clark?
I will say Dallas Clark more than Ebron. I don't know. Ebron was
Ebron had some great years in Indianapolis, but it wasn't Dallas Clark type numbers. But he had some great years with the Colts. But I think Colston Loveland makes more sense for the Indianapolis Colts than Tyler Warren going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Agree. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna take that.
I want to say, at my job, right?
Oh.
And I'm gonna take this off real quick.
Oh,
at
okay.
my job, and I'm gonna hear your thoughts on this real quick before we go. One of the vice principals at my job was like, there has been a rumor going around that it's a possibility that the Philadelphia Eagles and the Las Vegas Raiders might do a trade at draft, and the Raiders might go back into the first round at the 32 overall pick for draft capital. Now, I don't know what the draft picks are. He didn't say, but he said he saw some reports that the Raiders could jump back in to the first round, which is the 32nd overall pick, and the Eagles would fall back and get their player then. Now, if the Raiders do go and get and trade and get back into the first round, are the Raiders getting a quarterback?
So that means basically that the Philadelphia Eagles will trade up to get the 6th pick, and we would
no. They saying they trading out of the first round, so they would trade. They'll go back, and we will move up.
I don't understand.
So the Eagles have the 32nd overall pick,
right?
So they would probably trade back to like a second or a third round, and we will move up into the first round.
So we would have 2 first-round picks like we did.
2 first-round picks, yes.
Will we go quarterback? Yeah. If I know the Raiders kind of like Will Howard a little bit from Ohio State. I don't think Jalen Milroe is a first-round talent or a first-round. He has a first-round grade, but he can be developed, and he improved every year at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about that is that he went to Alabama, and those quarterbacks have not done the greatest. Is Jackson Dart going to be there because the Steelers may pick him?
Mm-hmm. That's a possibility as well.
So,
or you could go with that wide receiver from this mock draft, and that's Emeka Ubuka from Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah. And he was really good too.
As well.
Yeah. You know what? If that would actually be pretty cool. Because you think about it. We're going to either get Shador or Ashton. And then if that happens, we got our wide receiver. So the 2 biggest needs that we have, which is quarterback and running back, we're going to address one of those with that 6th pick. But then the other big need that we have is receiver.
Yep.
And if that happens, then guess what? We're able to address that as well. I kind of like it.
So shout out to Mr. Cramp, the vice principal at Bloxton Middle School. He brought this to my attention. I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask Willie about that and see what was his thoughts about it. But
yeah,
I thought that was pretty interesting to hear because the draft is a couple weeks away, and I'll be live for that. I will be doing the first round of that, so I'll be doing all the draft coverage for that as well because y'all definitely love to see my reactions on that every single year.
Yeah, and I'll actually be Draft Talk live with the Overhype, as I said in the one of the reads. I can't remember which segment it is, but the network will be live at the Turkey Den in Fort Worth, Texas. So everybody out there that's watching, if you're in the Fort Worth area, come on and holler at us on the 24th of April at 7:00. at the Turkey Den. That's 11. No, wait a minute. It's no. What is it? I have to look at the address. I'll give it to you here in just a second. But we're gonna be live there at 7:00, just like they talked about for the first round. The address is 1201 Oakland Boulevard, Suite 111, or I'm sorry, Suite 1111 in Fort Worth. So yeah, we'll be in the building. So if you guys are in the area, or if you got loot and you want to fly in, come on and holler at us.
Absolutely. I'm working on some things to try to see if I can get into like a sports bar to do the first round of the NFL draft. If not, then I'll be doing it from home.
Right.
But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, from the Shake Back Impact Sports Podcast. It was a great show. A lot of topics was talked about. We greatly appreciate it. And we won't keep doing this for y'all, at the end of the day. So we'll be back on Tuesday again, same time, same place.
Here comes the music.
Yep, and make sure y'all follow us on PH Impact Media, on all social media platforms, Impact Media Group, the LinkedIn and all that nature. Speak.com promo code DHOP, get $20 off your first purchase as well. And just to let you know, we got some breaking news that Julio Jones has retired from the NFL. So that just came through on my Twitter, according to ESPN, that 7-time Pro Bowler Julio Jones will announce his retirement from the NFL after 13 seasons. So, any final thoughts before we head out of here, man?
Nah, I guess I played the music too fast.
Yeah. And listen, you played the music, it's fine. We out of here. Peace, love, and blessings, y'all. Have a great Friday. And Willie, we'll be back at this on Tuesday, man.
For sure, man. Y'all be good. We'll holler at y'all soon. Peace. We out.
Be out.